Passing in, Fontaine, shot, they score! Northeastern is going to the national title game.
Our 2021 Men's Outdoor Track and Field Champions.
Alley-oop, Telford flushes with two.
Jordan Harris gives Northeastern the lead.
Hanging, hitting, Kendall Currents again.
Left-footed shot to Les!
In celebration of the 50th anniversary of Title IX, Northeastern Athletics gives thanks to the many pioneers and advocates for women's athletics who have paved the way for today's student athletes. 50 years later, members of the athletics community reflect on the personal impact of the legislation, the legacy of Title IX at Northeastern, and the work that remains.
Pre-Title IX, 1 in 27 girls participated in sport. That's compared to today, when 2 in 5 participate. What an enormous change that's been over the last 50 years, and it's definitely related to Title IX.
Title IX was actually written for education and for sports. And so it was being able to pick up the part of it to include athletics that really brought about the change for women.
Prior to Title IX, there were a lot of things that were significantly different. So one is just perception of what women's sports were and what they should be, and one is attitude of how people treated women in sports. And that goes through a lot of areas: support staff, athletic trainers, equipment, also just facilities, time-wise. There were opportunities to train compared to when the men got to train. So there were a number of areas across an array of different opportunities that were limited for the women. I'm really proud of Northeastern University and Northeastern Athletics and what they stand for. And one of the greatest pioneers in athletics here at Northeastern was Janice Swanson. She started the swimming and diving team for both the men and the women. She participated in swimming and diving, tennis, lacrosse, field hockey, and rowing. So she had an impact as a great pioneer in all those areas. And she made the strides of trying to improve women's athletics and the perception and the attitude that Northeastern has to that. So I'm really proud that that's continued to grow since Janice left, and today, we are an athletic department that really, truly treats all our athletes equal.
Before, there was practically no opportunities for women. Many schools had men's programs that they would let women maybe participate on. I was recruited by a few men's colleges to swim on their men's team, but there was no women's team at those schools.
The opportunities for female athletes to participate in sport at Northeastern has significantly changed over time. It's gone from just the ability to participate to the ability to thrive. And as we look at the experiences that our female student athletes are having today, vying for championships, being leaders, being out in the community, the significance is immense, and it's great to see the change that has occurred.
Northeastern was probably one of the pioneers in bringing women in, and Dean Allen and Marjorie Bouvet approached Northeastern because they were looking to maybe bring in women to the university at that time. It's been pretty much just a men's university up until then. So they came over and they had a basketball team, they had a field hockey team, so already those programs were built in. And so because of that, there was a lot of support from the administration because they wanted to see it go.
I think Jean Rollins was a true pioneer in fighting for a lot of what we, as collectively as female athletes on campus, received and grew to receive.
I think the biggest thing is making administrations aware of what women can offer to their universities and colleges through their sports programs, through their academics. Northeastern should be very proud of the academic record that they are achieving for their athletes.
We're looking forward to the next 50 years, the opportunity to continue to empower girls and women as leaders in sport and everywhere in society. Pay equity has been a strong area of focus, and we've seen that with women's hockey and women's soccer in particular at the national team level. How women are portrayed in the media, athletes in particular, and how much coverage they get in addition to how much they're paid. And as we look globally, what are the opportunities for girls and women around the world, and how can we help to support their continued growth?
Well, we just need to be aware of what opportunities are being given to all the athletes and make sure that everyone has equal access. And I know that's a priority within our athletic department. We need to make sure our attitudes about the achievements in athletics are equal towards the women as they are to the men. So women are doing great things in our department, and they need to be celebrated and they need to be acknowledged. And I believe those are happening and need to continue to happen.
Tales of the Howlin Huskies is presented by City of Boston Credit Union, the official credit union of Northeastern Athletics.
I've been doing this a long time. We're better when we're working together. I did not come to Northeastern years ago because I thought it was going to be easy. None of these young people do either. We come here to be great, and we come here for Northeastern. We'll overcome again, together. That's what makes us Huskies. We're Northeastern. We got this together.
A two-time qualifier for the NCAA Outdoor Track and Field Championships, Alex Korzinski continues to make strides as one of the most accomplished distance runners to ever compete at Northeastern. Yet it is Alex's approach and mental toughness that stand out most with his teammates and coaches. Positive and authentic, he is well suited for the mental and physical challenges of competing with some of the best athletes in the world.
Alex is one of those athletes that you get every 4 or 5 years that is very receptive to what we're trying to do, and we knew from the get-go that he was a high-level athlete and he had a special skill set that Alex could be just as successful at the 800 meters or the 10,000 meters. That's a special kind of skill set, and not everybody has that.
Alex is truly the even keel. He meshes and melds with just about every group we have: throwers, sprinters, jumpers, mid-distance, distance. He really is somebody that all the athletes look up to because I think they see a little bit of themselves in him. And he really is somebody who leads by example.
To make the NCAA championship in track takes enormous focus and dedication, and a couple of skills that I think are significant are resilience, ability to overcome adversity, and a maturity around how you approach what you're doing and how that shapes everything in your life. And as I've watched Alex just walk around our facilities, participate on our student athlete advisory committee, practice and compete, you can tell looking at him that he has that focus, that dedication, that expectation of being a success. In addition, he's just a wonderful person and an outstanding student, and I couldn't be more proud of who he is, both on and off the track.
The biggest thing I think I've learned at this stage is it's all about performing on the day. A lot of guys come in with really fast PRs and strong runs throughout the season, but none of it really matters too much depending on how they perform in the actual heat and things like that. So it's kind of all about execution at this point. A lot of guys are fit, and a lot of guys are ready to go. So it all comes down to who's ready to compete in whatever weather comes. Basically, who's feeling good on that day.
Alex and I talk a lot about how nothing in the sport is a given. And I think that's true for any level, whether you're at the high school state meet or you're at the NCAA final, the conference meet, or the Olympic Games. No matter what level you're at as an athlete, nothing's guaranteed for anyone. You know, you still have to kind of perform on the day and kind of deal with the stress of it and stay in the moment and not think about the past or the future and make it happen on the day. You know, and so that's kind of been our motto, and I think you can apply that same model to any level. But specifically with getting to the NCAA final, I think it's so important that he has already been there. And for him, even to have another year, that's even, it's another opportunity. So I think it's important as a coach to kind of go through that with him.
I think one of the biggest things for us, or what I have seen as a coach, is that athletes who make it to an NCAA final round, they come in their freshman year knowing that that's what they want to do. There is a huge commitment that it takes. You can show up every day and do practice and do what you're supposed to do and give 100%, or you can do a little bit extra and give 110%. You can stay a little bit longer in your training. You can put in a little bit more in the summertime. You can communicate with coach a little bit more often.
The goal is definitely to try and go for the title. I know, technically, personal record-wise, the number one guy is, I think probably 10 seconds ahead of me or something like that. But I know potential-wise, and I think with how I've been feeling lately, I don't think there's anyone in the field that can't run with on a given day. So I know the first goal is to execute in the semifinal, make sure I can get to the final to be in that position. And ideally, once I get through to the final, the goal is be in position when the race gets going and try to go for the wins.
Alex really, from the beginning, knew he wanted to compete at the highest level possible. And I'm sure it has been challenging and there have been moments of nerves and nervousness, but he's never doubted himself. Alex has always been someone who has known that he's good. And I think he's really just on a journey to discover exactly how good he can be. But he knows that he is good and deserves to be amongst the greats, and just how far that can go, I think, is what is really open the air for him.
Hockey East, the best teams.
Oh, what a dangle! Oh, what a goal! Here's Fontaine moving in. Fontaine, a shot. They score!
The best coaches. The best players.
Gaudette gets his second of the night. Right on in front, Poulet, score!
Hockey East, where champions play.
My name is Tremaine Shaw, and I'm the head coach of the cross-country and track and field programs at Northeastern University. I cannot stress enough how important it is for female athletes to be given the supports, to be given the opportunities. I was really impressed by the commitment City of Boston Credit Union has made to female student athletes. The more exposure that's given, the more young women will be influenced to continue down this path.
City of Boston Credit Union, today's teammates, tomorrow's leaders.
With opportunities at the varsity club and intramural level, Northeastern prides itself on providing distinctive and engaging recreational offerings for all students. Boasting over 60 club sports programs, the university's club teams have grown significantly in recent years and are making their mark on the national stage.
We have tremendous student athletes who have been high school all-stars, junior all-stars, coming to Northeastern and wanting to continue competing at a high level here at Northeastern. Over the last 10 years, we've seen tremendous growth and increase of participation with our student athletes involved at the club level. They're engaged, they're involved, and they're enjoying the competition each and every day, regardless of what sport they're participating here at Northeastern.
When I first came to Northeastern 5 years ago, we didn't have a club fencing team. It was originally a very small club with 8 people. My third year here, we had a whole bunch of freshmen who really wanted to start a real team. And so we went from quite literally not even having a team to being about 45 people. And of course, winning club nationals this year, which is, I never would have even imagined.
I've been playing hockey my whole life, probably since I've been 4 or 5 years old. So hockey's always been a huge part of my life. I really wanted to continue playing in college after a good high school career. And I actually got accepted into the NUN program at Northeastern. And then when I came back, the Winter Club Fair came and I met, the president, the vice president, the treasurer, just kind of introduced myself. And then they let me know when the NUN tryout skate was. The bond that I have with my teammates is the best thing I've ever experienced. These are like lifelong friends and lifelong memories that I'm making. And I think when my time at Northeastern's done, I think that's what I'm going to miss the most.
I'd played in high school, so I kind of knew that I wanted to continue playing in college. But the first time I felt actually a part of it was when we had our first big team dinner before our first game. And it was the first time in a huge school that I felt like people were interested in what I had to say and what I had to offer. I live with other rugby players. They're my best friends. I've been with them since I first joined the team, and I think that sports and athletics and that environment creates bonds that you can't really explain to someone who's never played a team sport.
Our student athletes have a chance to compete at the national level where they're going to nationals. They're representing Northeastern on the national stage and winning club championships.
This year, we placed top club team in New England, and then we went to club fencing nationals in Providence, Rhode Island. Overall, we placed top men's team overall, and for men's and women's combined, we placed second overall, which is really amazing. It's really just because everyone has been willing to put in the hard work, the long hours to get to where we wanted to be, and ultimately we made it there.
This past fall, we were able to put up multiple competitive sides, and we went to nationals placing third in the nation in our division, which was never done before. And then carrying on to spring, we had the highest retention season to season that we've ever had. And we ended up going to nationals in Atlanta, and we placed 4th overall, which again is the highest that we've ever placed. So it was a lot of fun.
We had a really successful season. Having the opportunity to make the NECA playoffs was amazing. And then beating Keene State in the semifinals and then having an overtime thriller with UMass Amherst, that was a great experience. We eventually got the auto bid to the national tournament, and then we met the defending champs, University of Mary, in that 3rd round robin game. And then ultimately, UMary beat us 3-1 with an empty netter at the end of the game. But it was an amazing trip with all my friends, teammates.
I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned, you can only control what you can control. And, if a ref makes a bad call or the other team's doing whatever they're doing, and really having to refocus on what you can control as an individual and what you can control as a team. And I think that translates to school and work as well. You can't control what your bosses do, you can't control what your professors do or say or grade or whatever. All you can do is focus on you and putting out the best version of yourself.
We're fortunate that at Northeastern we have a lot of activities for our students to participate. When you focus in and you look at the club sport level, you can see the passion. They're balancing academics and athletics here at Northeastern. And our student athletes put a lot of time into it because they want to represent Northeastern, whether it be on the ice, whether it be in the field, whether it be in the court. They want to make Northeastern proud.
I need to try it first.
It's a hockey-defining moment. Many hear the call, only a few ever answer it. But those who do Vow to bravely defend the world's smallest kingdom, the 24 square feet of a hockey net. Every time you go in net, so do we.
Alone, I'm the last line of defense.
I am the difference. We are in net.
Tales of the Howlin Huskies is presented by City of Boston Credit Union, the official credit union of Northeastern Athletics. Two storied programs, the Northeastern women's and men's rowing teams, continue to succeed at the highest levels of competition. The women's program capped off a successful spring season after winning their 8th straight CAA championship in May, while the men's first varsity secured an 8th place finish at the IRA championships. Returning the majority of the seats in both varsity 8s, Northeastern Rowing is primed for another successful year in 2023.
I think the mentality that we all bought into as a team this year was just, we're gonna win, but the question is how much. And I know everyone's always the pressure of like, oh, are they gonna win? Can they do it again? And I think we all have a little bit of stress going into it, but also that confidence that we have those other championships under our belt that we can move forward with.
It's exciting to kind of get there and like be the champions from last year. So it's exciting to like have that title and just that confidence that comes with it. And then like the motivation of, okay, we have to do this again.
I was the last race to go, and it's kind of nerve-wracking because you don't know the results of the races before you. And so you're racing, obviously going to win, but there's also a possibility that you could get second and still win the championship. So we were definitely trying to stay calm and not stressed, and at the start line just like breathing, relaxing, and making sure we're not thinking about what happened in the other races.
Definitely going down the course, we started off like we weren't winning, and I think we just had that confidence. We trusted our fitness, trusted each other, and it worked out well for us. It was just like the greatest feeling. Everyone was like cheering. We were so excited, and it felt like we had won our race, we had won the championship. Like we were so excited, like everyone was like, we're going to Florida. And it was just like a great moment for all of us together as a team.
Coming off Eastern sprints, I think we really identified some points of focus that we needed to improve on. And throughout the season, we were just constantly putting those pieces together to get that perfect race we were looking for. And I think it was a really great learning experience for the team. And everyone came back really energized, finals behind us, just ready to kind of put our heads down and get to work.
We really stepped on when we came back. We got the Monday off after sprints, and then that next Tuesday, everyone was just super fired up to be at the boathouse, and did a little bit of seat racing, which got the competitive nature of the boathouse back. And then those next 2 or 3 weeks, everyone was just so excited to go to the boathouse every day, and I think that really set us up to do very well at the IRA.
I think something that made this year really special was that we had a really deep field of a lot of really great teams and great athletes out there, Olympians and world champions in a lot of these boats in those top schools. And we're a big believer on the team of bottom-up pressure. So I think that coming out to the end of the season, that's something we really saw increase a lot, was that bottom-up pressure of the 4, pushing the 2V and the 2V pushing the 1V to increase their speed every day. The day before in our semi, we came only a couple tenths of a second off of Princeton. And they are a crew who had beat us in the past. So as we were happy with that move we made on them, we knew that we had to really even get more on them the next day, because they were coming ready to fight again, ready to take back the victory they had over us at the Eastern sprints.
We beat a Princeton crew who was a crew that got, I believe, 4th at Eastern sprints and had beat us in that heat that same day. And so it was really gratifying to beat them. It's really fun to rewatch that race because we took a pretty big push as a crew. We just dropped that Princeton crew.
I think this year in particular, the team was really close, which was something that was so encouraging to see. So I think that in itself, that everyone was really able to get along well and kind of mesh well together, definitely helped us a lot with our success we had this season. And not only that, but when school ended and we were in that IRA camp, I think that everyone was just really bringing the energy up.
I think that just continuing to stack on CAA titles back to back is really something that's pushing the program, and through the races all through the season, culminating with the CAAs, I think that results are very important in getting top recruits to see our program, especially beating bigger name schools like Harvard. And I think that's something that moving forward will be really helpful for the program.
Just continuing the success we've had and like building off of it each year. I know we're in great hands next year with our captains. We have a lot of younger girls on the team who've been very successful. So I think it's just continuing like the momentum we've had and kind of like building on that.
So we're hoping to, next year really flip some of the results that we had this year. Have a victory over Brown, hopefully, retain the Harvard Cup again, and really see ourselves making a statement in the grand final of the IRA.
I think definitely our goal for next year is going to be top 15. That's something that we're working towards every year, and I think we're at that point with incoming athletes and with the team we currently have that we can push that. And I think that going into it, everyone is really motivated, especially coming off of our result at NCAAs this year. Training through the summer and into the fall, we're really looking forward to what we can do as a team this spring.